Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. As you can tell, I am not in the office. I'm still on the East Coast. And I also just took a shower, so my hair looks like this, and that's just what it's gonna be. Today we're gonna be talking about the 1,000-pound sisters, who we've talked about quite a bit on the channel before, but if you're not familiar, a real quick rundown. So 1,000-pound sisters are two sisters, Amy and Tammy Slaton. They actually garnered popularity from YouTube. They used to make videos that, the videos were nothing really that special, but I think because of the way they looked, for lack of a better term, got them a lot of attention, and a lot of people kind of started watching and became kind of, I wouldn't say obsessed, but very interested in their lives.
Chubby bunny. Chubby bunny, we're gonna run on my shoulder for the fans. Chubby bunny. Maybe not, you're already starting to mess up.
And that continued on for many years, to be honest, and then it's all kind of culminated in this show, 1,000-Pound Sisters. Now, this show is from TLC, so I would say the morality of it is a little bit questionable, depending on who you ask. But this show has kind of chronicled their life and the things that they have gone through since being on the show. Now, the show has been interesting because I feel like it's opened us up to maybe a little bit more of their lives than we would have seen in the past. And throughout the show, there's been a lot of different arcs that have kind of happened. One of the first things was that I noticed, at least the discourse online from the show, was that at first it was like, wow, look at these these women, they're both obese, they're both so big, I can't believe how fat they are. But then Amy actually lost a good amount of weight, and the conversation shifted to, wow, look what Amy's been able to do. She's been able to lose weight, and then she's been able to lose a lot of weight, and then she actually got married, and a lot of people were like, wow, that's so amazing what she's been able to do. Look at how much better her life is because she's lost this weight. And then it turned into comparing the two sisters, right? So Tammy was always the bigger sister. She was always more overweight than Amy. Even from the old videos on YouTube, Tammy was always the one that was more overweight, and it seemed that she had a lot more complications because of her weight. And so then the conversation basically turned into Tammy needs to look at Amy and see how much better her life's gotten, and she needs to lose the weight because Amy has done this. Now, obviously not everyone was saying this, but this was a lot of what I had started seeing online. Now, fast forward a little bit, there's a lot of stuff that I'm cutting out. We've talked about all this stuff before, but now Tammy, the one that was more overweight, has actually started to lose a significant amount of weight. She's actually lost an incredible amount of weight. And it's actually really cool seeing the comments on this. We're gonna talk about a TikTok that was recorded, that was put up on the TLC, I think it's the TLC's TikTok page, but the comments under this TikTok are almost entirely positive. And it's always been interesting because I've talked about this phenomenon before, but when you are someone that is online that is trying to lose weight, if you are successful, it's crazy how much the tide shifts, right? And how it genuinely does seem like a lot of the people that watch the show want to see both of them succeed in losing the weight. They want to see them, have a better life and be able to live a better life because of this weight loss. And that's something that it seems like for a few seasons, it was almost only happening to Amy, and people were almost like upset, it seemed like, at Tammy because it felt like she just could not could not break through the barrier. She couldn't push through to actually get this weight off. And now that she has, and I mean, she's lost an insane amount of weight, the comments reflect that a lot. So this TikTok is actually from People magazine, and the writing says, 1,000-Pound Sister stars Amy and Tammy Slaton reflect on life after weight loss.
I guess some of the big changes that I have gone through this past year are probably small to people, most people, but for me it was huge. And that's just being able to walk without a walker or, be pushed in a wheelchair. And no oxygen. I don't even sleep with it at night anymore.
It really is so crazy to see like these things that she has been able to accomplish through losing the weight. And like for so long, I've always said, and I can't even imagine what this must have been like for her, because I felt this way and I was nowhere near her size. But like I've always said that I felt like I was stuck in a prison that I had built for myself, right? I was like stuck in this fat version of myself. And I can only imagine how much more you might feel that way if you are literally stuck, right? You cannot move. You are stuck in your house, basically. You are stuck to oxygen. Like I just genuinely can't imagine. So I can only think of how good it must feel to be able to move around the world without these basically shackles that are tied to you.
I don't even sleep with it at night anymore. And it was like being able to fit in a regular vehicle front seat or in a seat and then the belt buckle and not have to use an extender now. So I mean, just what seems minor to some people is like giant for me.
There really is no way to explain to someone that maybe hasn't gone through being significantly overweight just how many little things that you don't even realize as someone that has never been significantly overweight like struggles with. You just don't get it, right? Like how it feels to walk into a restaurant and search to make sure you're able to fit into the seats, or hope that the seats don't have armrests because that means you won't be able to fit in it, or drop something and like worry about even being able to pick it up, or tie your shoes, or will the shoes fit me? Will I be able to find anything in my size, right? All these little things that might not seem, you don't even think about it when you're not that large, but once you get to that size, it becomes such a big part of your life that it almost feels like it lives in the forefront of your mind and you are thinking about it constantly.
Most of that wasn't hard for me. I can do normal stuff like y'all can. It's just going to a store, like to a Walmart or something, I can't pick anything off the rack. I have to like make sure they have 3, 4, 5X clothes. Where now I can just go pick whatever pretty much I want.
By us putting our stories out there, we're helping others. Mm-hmm. We're helping others to see that they can lose weight too. They're not alone. They thank us for putting our story out there. It's kind of comforting knowing that we're helping put smiles on other people's faces.
I really like what's said at the end there, and it's one thing that I think that a lot of people that might just be watching the show as like a general entertainment, they might not realize just how many people might be in a similar situation to Amy and Tammy. Now, they might not be as in dire straits as they are or they were, but they might be at that level, right? But even if they aren't, seeing someone be able to make this huge change and have that filmed and have so many people watch it and see the support, that is good for people, I think. I think that's a good thing to show. Now, I genuinely don't know how I feel in general about these shows and the ethics of them, but I can't say that I don't think there is some good to come out of them. It seems that this new season is going to focus a little bit more on maybe like relationships. So one thing that happened I believe it was over the break, was that Tammy, she got married, but sadly her husband passed away. He was someone that she met in a rehabilitation center that was also very, very overweight, was trying to lose weight, and he sadly passed away. But Amy had been married for a few years, but she actually recently got divorced. So I found this article from People, and it's titled "1,000 Pound Sisters, Tammy and Amy Slaton Talk Divorce, Caleb's Death, and How They're Moving Forward." And so it goes on to say, the sisters open up to People about how they're coping after the death of Tammy Slaton's husband and the fallout of Amy Slaton's divorce. Over the years, fans of 1,000 Pound Sisters have been able to witness the emotional weight loss journeys of Tammy and Amy Slaton, while also getting a candid view of the sisters' love lives. After a year of loss, Tammy's husband Caleb died earlier this year, and Amy's marriage to Michael ended in turbulence. The sister duo is opening up about how they're trying to move forward. Tammy, who's 37, met Willingham at Windsor Lane Rehabilitation Center in Gibsonburg, Ohio, while she was working on her own weight loss journey. The two fell in love and quickly married in November of 2022. He was the love of her life, Tammy tells People exclusively in this week's issue. What not to love, he really fit into our family. But 7 months later, Willingham died at the age of 40 of unknown causes. Tammy was at home in Kentucky when she learned of her husband's death. He'd remained in the Ohio rehab facility after she left. I was sitting in the fetal position. Amy recalls, I got a text message from his friend up there, and the text said, Caleb's not doing good. They're in there working on him. 20 minutes later, he texted back and said he was gone. Tammy says she's been doing fairly well coping with her loss since she's since had 2 pieces of jewelry created of Willingham's ashes, a ring and a music note shaped necklace. That's actually very sweet. He's going to live on now forever because his memory is encapsulated, she says. Knowing that he's with me, it's helping me pass the day. I find myself grabbing my necklace and holding it a lot. When I take off my jewelry, I feel like it's weird separation anxiety. I start panicking. Every time I miss him, I can always look back at the show and watch it and see what made me happy again, Tammy adds. That's sweet. And when it comes to entering a new relationship, she insists, I'm not in any kind of rush right now to settle down or meet anybody, which I do think is interesting because that was one of the things that people would talk a lot about Tammy in the past, was that she was always trying to rush into relationships, right? Meanwhile, Amy is ready for the next chapter of her life. After splitting from her husband of 6 years, Michael, on March 13th, he filed for divorce from Amy in Kentucky. According to court documents, the former couple eloped back in 2017, which before having a wedding in 2019, which was previously documented on the TLC show. They are parents to sons Gage and Glenn. Recalling the end of their relationship, Amy says the lack of support from Halterman contributed to the implosion of their marriage. There was no support, there was no love, there was no kindness, there was just mental abuse, she says, noting that it took time for her to open up about the marital problems she was facing. I just got tired of hiding it from people. Amy admits that what really put the nail in the coffin was a heated exchange they had when she needed to buy formula for her son. I had spilled Glenn's formula all over the floor, she recalls. I was trying to tell him I needed a new jar. He was like, no, I'm going to go out and get you one. I'm like, I need it right now. He wants a bottle, we're leaving. I just can't stop on the way and get him some. And all hell broke loose. Amy claims Halterman refused to give her back her bank card, which she needed to purchase the formula, leading to an explosive confrontation between the pair and Amy's sister, all of which was captured on camera for the new season of 1,000 Pound Sisters. That's the day I left, Amy says, but I was falling out of love with him before that. Amy now only speaks to Halterman when it involves the children. I see him on Friday when I drop the boys off, and I pick them up Monday, she says, and that's as far as it goes. I'll ask him if he can watch the kids, if I have to work or something, but other than that, it's a matter of, hey, can you watch the boys this day at this time? Since the split, Amy says she's seeing a therapist to help her work through the messy divorce. She also has a new romance blooming, introducing her boyfriend Tony Rogers to social media last month. Tony supports me in everything I do. He supports the kids. He supports Tammy. He supports my whole family, Amy says. And so, like I said, I think that they are definitely going to be focusing on that in the upcoming season. But again, like I said, it's just been really interesting seeing the tides change and how people feel about these sisters and how the comments have been. Like, I really do encourage you. I'll link that TikTok down in the description. I encourage you to read it. Read the comments. There are some really, really nice ones of people being very supportive, and I think that's always a good thing. But I'm genuinely curious if you're someone that watches this show. Are you excited about it coming back? Are you someone that watches? Do you not watch? Do you think it's silly that people watch it? Let me know down in the comment section down below. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace.